I got Zach on this call. Zach, if you want to intro yourself, talk about the industry you're in, and we'll kind of go from there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, guys? Zach Vodich here, based out of Virginia. And I've been in the digital marketing space for about a year and a half now. I've been doing it full time for not very long, like 6 months. And when I first got started in AIA, I was sitting around 10K. But the problem was the clients I was working with were very needy. And I was working probably 14 hours a day on average, taking a lot of calls, doing a lot of customer support. And the margins were very slim. So my pricing structure was off, my offer was off. Got started, my first call with Justin, we kind of tweaked the offer, tweaked the pricing structure and all that. And then I kind of actually let a lot of clients go. So I basically rebuilt my whole foundation in the past 2-3 months or so. I've gotten back up to 10K and it's actually a little bit over that right now. I haven't lost any clients in the last 3 months or so. So the retention is much higher. We're focused on account management, client acquisition. And then now I actually have a process that is constantly bringing in new lead flow for me in the paid ads on Instagram. And we're running some Facebook ads as well. So that's been really good the past few months. And then I also work with insurance and financial advisors. I'm not sure if I said that yet, but that's kind of the space I'm in right now. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at and what I do and what I'm looking to grow here. So
Nice, man. Nice. And I was telling you before we started recording this that we're gonna have to like look back on this in like 3-6 months, because now that you have, like you mentioned, now you have that foundation in play. Like I think that's a really big thing, and a lot of things that a lot of people overlook is like putting in the work up front. And like sometimes, like yourself, you got to rebuild it and let some clients go and rebuild it back up. So like talk to us now about like the foundation that you built. You said, are you working the same amount of hours? Like talk to me a little bit about like your time.
yeah, so I'll kind of rewind back to where I started. So when I first brought in all these clients, a lot of them were brand new to the insurance industry. And I was also working with some mortgage brokers as well. So I was kind of all over the place, taking on any business I could just because I needed the revenue, right? So I was really just running ads for whoever would pay me to run their ads. And then the other thing is I was also including their ad spend in the account management, which is why my margins were so low.
Mhm.
And I was spending all their money on advertising. And because they were also new in the industry, like just getting started, they didn't really have the experience of closing business. They didn't have the experience in the insurance industry. Some of them aren't even in insurance anymore. It's a very high turnover industry in the insurance space, or even like real estate and mortgage. Like it doesn't matter what you're selling. A lot of those people bounce around from different industry to different industry. So working with people that are new is really was just a headache. I was taking calls all day. I'd send leads to them and they didn't know what to do. They didn't have a script or any sales process. So I was taking customer support calls a lot. I was kind of doing some training and coaching and onboarding with those clients, just trying to help them close business because I want them to be profitable on my services so that they would continue to be customers. But that's kind of why I was working like 14 hours a day. I was taking sales calls, I was doing prospecting, I was doing onboarding, and then customer support along with the dozen or so clients that I was working with at the time. And then now, fast forward 3-4 months, I've let a few clients go. I've also brought on probably 8-10 clients, maybe a few more. And my margins have gone from under like 20% to closer to 65-70%, which is where I want them to be at. So I'm really happy with that. And then also just the retention, the people that I'm working with are just higher quality. You know, they have experience closing business. They've been in insurance for several years. And that's just really from building out the funnel that we kind of learned how to do through the AIA program. I learned how to just attract higher quality customers. And then the calls with Justin, I was able to kind of filter people out that didn't have experience, or maybe they weren't ready to invest in themselves. So that's kind of one of the main reasons that the clients I have now are a little bit higher quality, which means they don't require as much hands-on coaching from my end. So now, I mean, I'm working like 4-6 hours a day, usually on average. I mean, you know how it is. Like some days
Yeah.
I'll pump out like 14-16 hours, like early morning till late at night. But I don't really need to be doing that. I'm not taking customer support calls all day, every day. So now I have a lot more flexibility. I'm much more profitable, which puts me in a position to reinvest into more paid ads, to reinvest into the infrastructure of the business when it comes to onboarding and automating and then delegating. And that's why I'm excited, because like I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I feel like I've laid a better foundation, and I'm also getting some momentum going. And I mean, I've never felt better, more confident in my business than I do now.
Yeah, that's a good feeling, man. I'm proud to hear that, because I know like when we first started working, it was exactly what you said. It was like you got some clients, but it wasn't like a predictability type
Yeah.
thing. And it's like now, and you talked about it was like the importance of like the type of clients that you're bringing on. I think that's a thing where a lot of people kind of overlook, like, especially, within like the first couple of years in business, they're like, I have to work with everybody in my industry. Like I have to go prospect, I have to do all this organic outreach, and I have to get all these people. And it's like, you don't usually get the best type of clients like that. And like what we teach and what you've been implementing is more of like the attraction based marketing, where we're running ads to get people that are already interested in what we have. And then they're getting on calls with you. And like, I know with you, it's like you said, you're getting way better quality clients. So like, talk about that a little bit. Like, what do you, for someone that's kind of just, they're maybe under the point that, let's just say they're doing less than 10K right now, or they're thinking that they have to work with everybody in the space. Like, let's talk a little bit about the importance of just finding like good type of clientele to bring on inside your business.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I kind of have a mixed feeling about it if you're starting out, because I've kind of been in that position where your back's against the wall and like you have to drive revenue, and also you're going to learn from it. So I mean, obviously you don't want to bring on bad clients, and if you do, which you probably will because everyone does, it's a learning experience.
Oh
But I
yeah.
mean, the biggest headache for me was really just working with people that, I mean, they didn't have any experience in the industry that they were in, which is selling insurance in my case. And they're calling you because they got a lead or like 5 leads today, and they don't even know, like, they don't have a script, they don't know how to run illustrations, they don't know how to quote or what kind of policies that this type of person would qualify for. um, so they just don't really know where to start, and they don't even have someone that they could reach out to, because at least in insurance there's a lot of um, like independent agents that just go off on their own and they do it part-time. So that's another issue, is like I was working with a lot of agents that were doing it part-time, and I know that's a big thing in the insurance and mortgage and real estate space as well. I want to focus more on people that are doing this as their full-time job. They want to make multiple 6 or 7 figures doing this annually, and I want to be able to help them scale and do that. But if it's someone that wants to make, that just got their license, and they might want to do a couple deals a month here and there, then those are like the poor quality clients. And it's just because, I mean, they don't have any skin in the game, right? So it's harder to work with those types of people.
Yeah. And I feel you, man. I think it's kind of going off that a little bit. I think everybody has to kind of go like, it depends on where you're at, like if you're starting a new business from scratch and like this is your only source of income, you're going to have to grind a little bit harder and get like type of clients that probably aren't the best fit. But I think kind of like with what you were saying is, once you can make that transition and be financially okay and have that foundation to be working with the best type of clients, that's when your business really hits the next level. And it's a lot more fun rather than just overworking with people that, and again, you, like you said, you kind of have to experience that to be able to understand it to get to the next level. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
but
you. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
just one last thing I will say, like once you do get to that point and you can turn away clients, like that is a really good feeling, because you already know, like you can tell when you hop on enough calls, you're like, all right, this person's not going to last longer than the first month. This person is probably, they already told you that they tried this company and they didn't get their money back, they didn't close any business. So you already know, like, this person's wired to think like if they don't make their money back, they're going to be blowing you up for refunds and they're just going to quit in like 30 days. So once you kind of hop on those calls, then you can kind of weed those people out, because you don't want to work with those people anyways. But you do have to be driving like some revenue, at least in
For
my
sure.
opinion, like in order to turn those people away.
For sure. For sure. Now let's shift this conversation real quick to like the side of paid ads. What do you think? I mean, obviously everyone's in a different position, but like for people that, they have an offer that's established and everything, but they're strictly doing organic, like how much of a game, how much has paid ads like helped you with this? Because I think it's funny, like when we first started talking, you were you were hopping on like every coaching call, which was awesome. And we always see that. And then out of nowhere, you just like stop hopping on coaching calls for like a little bit. I reached out. I'm like, yo, what's up, dude? You're like, bro, I've been on so many appointments, I can't even make it. So like,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
great.
that's awesome first off, but like, obviously, there's organic, there's paid ads. Like how much do you recommend paid ads for someone that should be going into paid ads?
Yeah, for someone that's going into paid ads, I mean, I tell people that it's like pouring gasoline on the fire. So like organic business is always great. And I do think that you should always have some sort of organic business coming in. Um, but paid ads is really just like pouring gasoline on the fire. You can put $1 in and get three, four, $5 out. And my calendar didn't really start blowing up until I got into paid ads. And I didn't even realize like how big my space even was until I got into paid ads, because I was struggling to generate 20 appointments a month on the organic side. Now I could do that in a week on paid ads. And at least in my space, it's not even that expensive, honestly. Like I'm getting booked appointments for like $15, $20 right now, which is nuts.
That's
And
insane.
then, yeah, so I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And like if you want to scale and actually take your business to like six figures and then eventually like six figures a month, which is where I want to take this thing. And hopefully 6 months from now, when we're looking back at this, like I won't be closer. But yeah, man, I think paid ads is probably going to be a key component for my growth in my agency.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's just something like exactly what you said. It's like when it's just the fastest way to really grow. And you, for me specifically, I always say it's like you're going to trade you're either trading your time for money or your money for your time. Right. And like with paid ads, you invest the money to get back your time rather than doing all that organic outreach. And even if the like, I think is a really big misconception. Again, I think organic prospecting outbound is great. Like that's how I made my first six figures, was just doing like Facebook groups doing that. But like you're either it's expensive, right? And you might not put a dollar value on it, but you got to put your time value on it.
Yes.
So there's that equal space of where you're at. And like where I'm at now, like I live or die by paid ads, because throughout just being in business for a while, I have the ability with credit and the finances I have to just build with paid ads. And it's like one of those things where when you get it down, you put $1 in, you get $2 back or $5 back or $10 back. And, it's just a really big component of just knowing your KPIs. So I'm glad to see that's working for you, man. I know when we first got on the call, I was like, dude, you're going to fucking crush with this. And here we are now. It's like, I can't wait to see where you're at in 6 months, bro.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm excited. I think paid ads is definitely going to help me scale. And even like the best part about the paid ads really, or even you can do this organically too, but like I'm paying like $15, $20 for a booked appointment and maybe like $8 or 13, $8 to $10 for a lead. And I've closed like two leads this week that came in like several months ago, 2, 3 months ago from paid ads. So, I mean, the ROI is just going to continue to grow. And as long as you just get people into your funnel, and I know you can do this organically too, but I think the paid ad strategy, the ROI actually increases like over time as well. It's something I'm starting to realize.
For sure. For sure. Because you get them all in your sequence. And some, I mean, it's marketing, some people convert on the spot, but a lot of people, we call it like the 6 hour rule of marketing, is like someone needs at least 6 hours worth of content and trust from you before they buy. Obviously you're going to have the percent that buy on the front end, but that's usually what we found. And we'll share with you some of we have like holiday reactivation sequences and stuff that you're going to be overfloated with onboarding at those times, which would be fun. But for everybody else watching this, man, I mean, two things. One, what do you think the main thing that AIA has helped you out with the most?
Client acquisition, and then also just building out the foundation of what kind of clients I want to work with. So, I mean, the key to any business is customer acquisition, right? And that's what most business owners like that fail struggle with. They can't generate revenue, which means they can't reinvest, they can't pay people or hire people. They can't even fulfill their services. So I would say just having a predictable method of client acquisition, as opposed to just leaning on organic, sending 500 emails a day or even 50 emails a day and DMing people on Instagram and Facebook. Maybe that stuff worked 4 years ago, but it's a whole lot easier just to run paid ads. And then, I'm booking appointments on autopilot,
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say the paid ads and client acquisition through paid ads.
Good. Well, I'm happy to hear that, man. And last question for you. For anyone that's watching this video, we've got viewers all throughout the entrepreneur journey. We got some people that are just getting started. We've got some people that are looking to scale, and we got some people that are already scaling that are just looking for other ways to like scale in another direction. What would you say like is your biggest piece of advice just that you've learned personally throughout your entrepreneur journey?
That's a good question, man, because I was a guy that I bounced around from several different things. And I kind of got I guess shiny object syndrome or whatever. So I see people making money selling stuff online. I see people making money like wholesaling real estate and then the SMMA. So I was like bouncing around, but like the key is just picking one. And you don't even necessarily have to be like passionate about it or whatever they say. Like just pick one and then focus on it and just double down on that. That's probably the biggest thing if you want to get quick wins. I know it might not be like overnight, but if you just focus on one thing rather than bounce around, you're going to accelerate and expedite that process to having a successful business and whatever it is as an entrepreneur. And also just keep at it. The only entrepreneurs that don't make it are the ones that give up on shit. So
That's true. That's true. That's facts. And I love that, man, because I think that's something that majority of people in this space, and it's not like anyone to blame. It's just like how humans are wired. And I myself is in the same positions.
yeah,
Like you want to do everything because you see all these quick results online. You're like, oh, Amazon drop shipping, Walmart drop shipping.
yeah,
Like I could do that. I can invest in this. And the honest truth is like everything works one way or the other. It's just where you're going to put your time and attention. And if you go
exactly.
100% all in on one thing, you're going to get the absolute best results from that. So, Zach, I
That's
appreciate you being on here, my man. Appreciate you taking time out of your day. It was a pleasure to hear your story, brother.
yeah, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate AIA. And if you're on the fence, y'all need to hop in like 100%.
I appreciate the love, brother.